Tanker drivers begin indefinite strike in Lagos over maltreatment and extortion of drivers. North-East governors resolved to work with the federal government to tackle security challenges and also produce strategic master plan for sustainable development. Plus, cadets of Direct Short Service Course 29 of the Nigerian Air Force charged to be resolute in their commitment towards protecting Nigeria's territorial integrity. This is Panorama, live on the network service of the NTA. I'm Ian Ray John. Welcome. Tanker drivers under the aegis of the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers Union, NUPENG, have suspended their activities in Lagos following unresolved grievances with the state government. Dotun Oguyemi has details.
This is the situation on roads across Lagos. The tankers are conspicuously missing on Ikorodu Road, the route daily plied by them. The development is as a result of the suspension of activities which NUPENG says must be addressed. Before now, there have been series of complaints by tanker drivers over delays to gain entrance to depot terminals.
On top bridge for Ijola, now then they come person. We go pay money, they don't go allow me to go. And they go turn us. And since 2 weeks now, I don't suffer. I don't feel go out, I don't feel go anywhere.
Yeah, the one you are doing for here, the way they are doing to us for here is not good at all. Because when we are paid the money for the road, they will still turn us. And last month also they are doing their own. They will arrest their motor, beating all their boys.
These reasons and many more, according to the authorities of the union, makes the action inevitable.
The economy cannot be operated independent of human being. For the tanker driver that will go in there and pick this product, they too they are part of the economy. Not until all of them are died or become incapacitated before you think of what to do. The little action, the action they are putting on today is not because they want to hurt the economy, but they are to show their grievances.
The union says it does not have a stipulated timeline for which the action will last, but promised to sustain it until its demands are met by the Lagos state government. In Lagos, Dotun Oguyemi, NTA News.
The second meeting of the North-East Governors Forum has ended in Maiduguri with a resolve to, among other things, work with the federal government to tackle security challenges bedeviling the region, as well as produce a comprehensive strategic master plan to ensure sustainable development in collaboration with the North-East Development Commission. Mohammed Goni reports.
The meeting by the Forum of North-East Governors was a follow-up to the first one held in March this year in Gombe, hosted by Governor Inuwa Yahaya. Present at the Maiduguri meeting were governors of Adamawa, Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri, Bauchi Bala Mohammed, and Gombe Mohammed Inuwa Yahaya, while Taraba and Yobe were represented by their deputy governors. Chairman Borno State Governor Professor Wagana Umara had laid emphasis on security challenges facing the region, problems of unemployment, over-dependence on federal allocation, and how to move the region forward. The governors, in addition to discussing security and development issues, also received presentation from the North-East Development Commission, Lafarge Ashaka, the NNPC, the Zone 15 Nigerian Police Force, and the Nigerian Army. Before the Maiduguri meeting, a technical committee comprising secretaries of government from the 6 states and focal persons from the North-East Development Commission had deliberated for 4 days to come up with an agenda. As part of the 11-point communique issued at the end of Maiduguri deliberations, Borno State Governor Professor Wagana Umara was nominated as chairman to lead for 2 years, with Maiduguri as headquarters. The forum had urged the federal government to support the armed forces and the Nigerian police with modern military hardware and manpower to secure the zone and defeat the insurgents.
The forum pledged to work together to foster regional integration, growth and development, especially in exploitation of its oil and gas potentials, mineral resources, agriculture and industrialization. The forum called on the federal government to revoke selected roads contracts awarded by Federal Ministry of Works for years without progress and re-award them to more competent contractors and firms to ensure timely completion.
The next meeting comes up on the 7th November 2020 in Yola, Adamawa State. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has urged cadets of the Direct Short Service Course 29 of the Nigerian Air Force to be resolute in their commitment towards protecting the territorial integrity of Nigeria. This is contained in his message to the passing out cadets in Kaduna. Abdullahi Muhammad reports.
Orders, precision, discipline and agility, the symptoms of a world-class military training which these young cadets of the Nigerian Air Force underwent in the last 6 months. The arrival of the reviewing officer in a Scottish manner set the ball rolling for the passing out parade. Inspection of the parade by the Chief of Defense Staff in place of Mr. President and a challenge to the officers to go the extra mile in the discharge of their responsibility.
I expect that you will do your best to further enhance Nigerian Air Force efforts towards boosting quality health care for personnel.
The 114 cadets who passed out comprise of professionals in the field of human and animal medicine, nursing as well as logistics. They were subsequently adorned with their ranks and set for a new vista in their lives after taking an oath of allegiance. In Kaduna, Abdullahi Muhammad, NTA News.
And still on security, the National Assembly has acknowledged the anti-banditry operations of the military in the northwest zone of the country. Senate Committee on Army noted the effort during an oversight on the Nigerian Army Super Camp in Faskari, Katsina State. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
Activities of bandits, kidnappers and cattle rustlers disrupting socio-economic life in the northwest geopolitical zone of the country has forced the military to delve into internal security to stem the tide. Exercise Sahel Sanity, organized by the Nigerian Army, which later transformed to real-time security operation, is one of such that is said to have recorded a lot of success. This has prompted the Senate and House of Representatives Committees on Army to embark on fact-finding mission to the Nigerian Army Super Camp 4 Faskari in Katsina State. Chairman of the committees, Senator Muhammad Ali Ndume and Abdulrazak Namdas, were briefed on some of the achievements of the ongoing operation that includes the rescue of 48 kidnapped victims, elimination of 81 and arrest of 78 bandits.
The Army has done a good job.
Armed with first-hand information, the legislators expressed their opinions on the operations to the media.
I am very confident that this issue of banditry in the Northwest is almost now a history.
For just a month, I think the Nigerian Army has recorded a lot of successes.
The special advisor to the Katsina State Governor on security was on a similar mission to the camp, where he pledged that the state government will continue to support the efforts of the military.
The security operations deserve commendation, deserve applause, and we are mobilizing members of the public to come to the aid of the military by giving them information. They should not shield the criminals.
The lawmakers also commended the high level of ingenuity in the Nigerian Army and promised to improve funding to the military from the Nigerian Army Super Camp 4 in Faskari, Katsina State. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Now talking about the pandemic, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) has announced 437 new cases of COVID-19 in the country. A breakdown of the new cases recorded in 16 states, including FCT, shows that Lagos has 107, FCT 91, Plateau 81, Kaduna 32, Ogun 30, Kwara 24, Ebonyi 19, Ekiti 17, Oyo 8, Borno and Edo 6 each, Kano 4, Nasarawa, Osun and Taraba have 3 cases each, Gombe 2, Bauchi 1. The new record brings the total number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria to 46,577, 33,186 discharged and 945 deaths recorded. Now, 26 more COVID-19 patients have been treated and discharged by the Akwa Ibom State Government. Susan Asuko reports that the state government at the moment has only one active COVID-19 patient in its isolation center in Ibom Multi-Specialty Hospital and a few others in other facilities.
The fight against the coronavirus pandemic is still on across the globe. While the gradual opening of the economy and relaxation of lockdown seems to be causing a spike in the number of infected persons, Akwa Ibom State Government is recording more wins in the fight against the virus. With 26 more COVID-19 patients treated and discharged at the Ibom Multi-Specialty Hospital, it is an indication that effort of the state government and huge resources sunk in to fight the dreaded virus is not in vain. One of the recovered persons, Mfonobong Ekanam, said she is one of those who never believed that COVID-19 is real.
I was called and told that my test result was positive. Heaven knows that I cried for one whole day because I was like, something that I never believed existed.
We are happy because we are not reporting any death.
The duty of care passes to individual responsibility. We must be responsible.
The management of these diseases is also successfully being taken. The tests are available.
So far in Akwa Ibom State, 198 COVID-19 patients have been treated and discharged, with 29 active cases still receiving treatment and awaiting discharge soon. Susan Asuko, NTA News.
And away from Akwa Ibom now, a sure way to achieving food security. The federal government has stressed the need to revive moribund agricultural facilities across the country. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Alhaji Sabo Nanonu, noted this during the distribution of agricultural palliatives to farmers in Imo State. Kate Osunwa has details.
Determined to alleviate their plight and ensure food security, the federal government is reaching out to farmers in Imo State through this distribution of COVID-19 agricultural palliative.
The good thing that is happening in Imo State today. We need that silos to be functional in Okigwe.
The distribution of the COVID-19 agricultural palliative is one of the measures being adopted by the federal government to end the food shortage.
The various input for distribution to farmers is part of my minister's measure to mitigate the effect of on food protection in the country.
Agriculture. This is informed by our shared authority established a University of Agriculture and Environmental Science.
The agricultural inputs to be distributed to members across the 27 local government areas in Owerri. Kate Osunwa, NTA News.
Time to go for a short break. Panorama continues shortly. Do stay. Thank you for staying. The federal government is working to develop and modernize a blood transfusion service in Nigeria to be spearheaded by a blood service commission, which will operate as a ready blood reserve for the country. Minister of Health, Dr. Osagie Anire, said this at the annual strategic health meeting with National Blood Transfusion Service. Basi Ita Ekpeng was there.
The importance of blood transfusion service in the health system of a country cannot be overemphasized, as it would reduce the high rates of mortality during childbirth.
A number of people are looking for blood transfusion. Where are you going to get it? So if you have a strategic reserve, you have somewhere where you can reach into and be able to take care of mass catastrophe, mass disaster. Good idea.
The National Coordinator, National Blood Transfusion Service, shared the challenges and prospects of the service.
Nigerians to voluntarily donate blood. We want to make sure that we have 1 million pints of safe blood reserved at any point in time. And this safe blood can be called upon by the Minister of Health or the President when there's a crisis.
Commercialization of the blood service industry also came to the fore, with the hope that with the population of young people, the country has a pool of donors that will meet global demand for blood, and the commission would be self-sustaining but highly revenue-generating. Basi Taikpan, NTA News.
The national body of Nigerian Medical Association has condemned the Enugu State branch election that took place recently for being marred with crisis. Haman Jabani reports that a three-man committee has been set up to investigate the causes.
On the 6th of August, Enugu State branch election of Nigerian Medical Association was disrupted by thugs that resulted in bloody harm inflicted on many of its members. The national body says it does not reflect the behavior and attitudes of the Nigerian doctors.
While the association appreciates the passion of members and the desire to be actively involved in its activities, including the electoral process across the country, it is instructive to know that as the foremost professional body, we will not tolerate any act of violence and ugly behaviors in whatever form, and therefore what happened in Enugu is totally condemned in its entirety.
To address the situation, a three-man fact-finding committee was set up to, among other things, investigate the immediate and remote causes that led to the disruption of the 2020 Enugu State NMA election, identify those involved in the disruption, and recommend actions to be taken to avert future occurrence. The committee has 2 weeks to submit its report. The body, however, commended the peaceful elections in the over 20 states where elections were conducted and apologized for the situation in Enugu State branch election. Haman Jabani, NTA News.
And away from health issues now, more investors have continued to show interest in investing in the superhighway and deep sea port projects of the Cross River State government. A group, while visiting Governor Ben Ayade in Calabar, expressed its interest. Paul Abel reports.
Having expressed interest in investing in the signature projects of the present administration, the governor revealed that the construction of the entire stretch of the superhighway will cost between 600 to 900 billion naira, with a future plan of rail lines along the stretch. He said due to the enormous cost, the state government, through a legal document, is giving interested investors freedom, according to their financial capabilities, to construct between 50 to 100 kilometers of the road, toll it, and give percentage to the state.
But take note that any portion that you have completed, it's your portion. You pay royalty, and you pay the toll takings, and you pay the state portion, and you run your business and pay your taxes. That is the concept. So that the maintenance of your section will remain perfect.
The first 10 kilometers of the superhighway from the Bakassi Deep Sea Port axis is 10 lanes, while the rest is 6 lanes. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
Recall that markets and other businesses were shut down in Akwa Ibom State and other states in Nigeria because of fear of the spread of COVID-19. With the reopening of markets, traders applaud Governor Udom for the gesture. John Paul Alumona, who visited one of the markets in Uyo, the state capital, now brings us the situation reports.
After relaxation of the interstate movement by the federal government and review of the situation by the state COVID-19 management team, the state government has approved the reopening of markets for daily operations. Some Uyo residents and traders in the markets, while commending the state government, expressed the hope that businesses will soon pick up.
The traders that are excited, are happy. The market have started picking up, so the sales are better now.
It has been very difficult because most times you go to your store in the house, you want to pick one or two things, you find you don't have it. But now that the market is open, if you feel like eating a fresh food, you can actually come by and go back home.
We didn't have things to buy, we did not see things to buy. Because when you want to buy at the rest, it will just appear that you will be jammed down by the car. So now that they have opened the market, I feel very happy.
The traders assured the state government that they will continue to adhere to the safety measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in the markets. In Uyo, John Paul Alumon, NTA News.
A state action plan committee adopting United Nations templates to end gender-based violence and promote peace has gone to work with inauguration by the Nasarawa state government. From Lafia, Aliyu Tijani Mohammed reports.
The UN Action Plan Against Gender-Based Violence has Action Aid and other NGOs championing the initiative as Nasarawa joins 11 other states.
We are willing to continue to work with the state government to ensure that every woman, every girl in Nasarawa State is liberated from the influence and effect of violent extremism and increase sustainable development.
The UN SRCR 1325 was a landmark resolution which affirmed the important role of women in prevention and resolution of conflict.
Governor Abdullahi Sule says all forms of crime against women and children must stop. He says the state government will give adequate support to the committee to succeed, as he urged stakeholders to support the campaign. In Lafia, Aliu Tijan Mohamed, NTA News.
Let's now talk sports as Juventus promotes under-23 coach to main team. Amanzi Marcus Sofidas with more.
Juventus goalkeeper Gianluigi Buffon has wished his former Italy teammate and new boss Andrea